It's Groundhog Day again.
It's Groundhog Day!
Groundhog time.
Aye, who would have thought, eh? Callum Wilson injured. I see people ranting away, shocked, surprised at this news of Callum Wilson getting another injury. I'd be more surprised if the news was Callum Wilson didn't have an injury. If Callum Wilson was injury-free, would be more surprising to me. I mean, seeing the headline that Callum Wilson is once again injured is like seeing a headline that Sunderland once again can't fill the stadium of shite. It's not surprising. It's blatantly obvious. It's just what happens. Callum Wilson injured yet again is an exclusive from Craig Hope and the Daily Mail that came out last night. Apparently Newcastle United are rocked by the news. Rocked maybe because they're absolutely mudded now with a busy festive fixture list coming up and one striker once more in Isak to carry the weight of the club going forward. Apart from young Asula who can't seem to get a minute of football. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it has to change going forward. There's loads to get into in this video and we're going to talk about who should come in January, what will change now recruitment wise with this news. I mean, we should have been prepared for this. I mean, this is a catastrophic error by the club once again. Catastrophic line of errors, to be honest with you. Just more and more poor decisions throughout the last couple of years. I mean, maybe Mitchell was right about this transfer strategy. It wasn't fit for purpose. Mainly not getting rid of players that should have been sold. I mean, not selling Wilson nearly a year ago now. Last January, Atletico Madrid, solid interest. Saudi Arabia, solid interest. Stayed at the club. Shambles, man. He should have been gone a long time ago. The bloke is a walking popperdom. He may as well be sponsored by Shawwoods. Now, on Wilson, you know, don't want to dig into him. He's obviously not wanting to be injured. It's not obviously his fault, really, that I guess his body's given away on him. You know, his retirement beckons. It's time to ride in that Saudi sunset if it's still possible for him. But, you know, another injury, man. Really, after being out for 4 months, and he comes back for a couple of games, makes a couple of sub-appearances, barely touches the ball, and then another part of his body gives up on him. This time it's his hamstring that's given way, and now he's going to be out for at least another 2 months. I mean, my days, I've never known anything like it. It's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of injuries that this bloke has had. It really is. I mean, the amount of games he's missed and stuff. We'll get into those dominant stats in a minute, but let's just fly through the article first before we talk more about my feelings and what Newcastle should do going forward, and drop your opinions below. January transfers could yet be affected by this loss, which is going to be the main focus of the video in just a minute. Injury obviously rules out the sale of Wilson. I mean, no one's going to buy this bloke now. You'd be lucky to get something for him last summer. Maybe we didn't because of his problems. And he's free transfer next summer, you know, his contract runs out in a few months' time. So he'll most likely leave the Toon on a free deal. A free transfer for him is the only hope he's got of a club picking up for him. Apparently, Brentford were interested in him before they made that record signing, but were maybe put off by his injuries to replace Ivan Toney. West Ham need a striker, you know, with Antonio. Hope he's doing well, recovering from his car crash. That Wilson could have stepped in there, maybe. He's had these rumours for so long, but every club's going to look at this now and be like, what a gamble this is. And it's not a likely gamble to pay off. Depending on how you're going to use him, what your expectations are of him, and what you're relying on goals-wise. If you're bringing him in as a third-choice striker, he might do your job. But he can't even do it as a second-choice striker for us. So the 32-year-old is said to have felt tightness in his hamstring after coming on for the final 17 minutes. He can't even play 17 minutes. Against Brentford last weekend. And the scans have now revealed a strain serious enough to keep Wilson sidelined until mid-February at the earliest. And that's going to be a miss of 11 matches, as well as obviously Carabao Cup action, FA Cup action as well in January. Fuck me. For now, Newcastle will not change their January transfer plans according to the Mail. I can't believe that, and I don't want to believe that. That's where my rant's going to come in a minute. No way can we not change our plans now. How man? Isak is fit and they say Anthony Gordon is his backup. Anthony Gordon isn't a striker. How many times are you going to try and fail at this? But an injury to either of those would see funds diverted to a striker. So if either of those get injured, then we may actually sign a striker. A right-sided forward is the priority, and as in the summer, a right-sided centre-back is also a position of focus. So on that, yeah, that is a focus. But now, it has to be a striker as well. And I don't care what happens. We'll talk about options in a minute, right? There's loan deals that have been touted amongst various media outlets this morning of what Newcastle could do in January to combat this issue of no fit forwards, bar Isak, but we know his injury record as well isn't the best. So we need to strengthen that area. Definitely. And I tell you what, if you're going to be on about just focusing on the right forward, how about you go and sign Brian Mbeumo? You know the player that scored against last week? The player that's Premier League proven? Get him in. Because guess what? he can play as a striker as well, since that's what we love to do so much. Square pegs, round holes. We love to do that, so getting Boomer in. And to be fair, Boomer did a very good job last season when Tony was out with his betting ban. So, and Boomer ticks all the boxes. Put the bastard money on the table. Buy in Boomer, play him on the right. If someone is injured, slot him down the middle. Easy solution there. And yes, go get a right centre back because Shaw's aging and struggling. So it's a big window coming up, man. Let's just see what this article finishes off with. Wilson's a hugely popular member of the squad. The team needs him both on and off the pitch, blah, blah, blah. Means Wilson will sign off 2024, having made just 2 starts for Newcastle in the calendar year. 2 starts this year. Wow, that is absolutely horrific. 2 starts this year, man. You have got to be kidding me. Anyways, what's Wilson said then? Despite all the... I will say this as well. At the Liverpool game, I was reading the programme, and it did come out as well in the press afterwards, him kind of hitting back at Newcastle fans, saying that we had short memories and that we're fickle and haven't remembered what he's done when he's been getting criticised for 2 games in a calendar year, 2 starts. That was bad by Wilson. I didn't like that. I really like Callum Wilson. Met him, great bloke, great striker on his day, very, very good. Newcastle's second highest goal scorer in the Premier League history, behind Alan Shearer. That shows how good he is when he plays, but also shows how poor we've been without Shearer. But, Wilson, yeah, top bloke, top goal scorer, top in the treatment room and all, isn't he? Top for the physio visits. So that's let him down, and he kind of come out in the programme having a go. Like, what, we should just accept you being injured all the time now? You haven't really played football in about 2 years, mate. So, come on, man. We haven't forgot, or I haven't forgot anyways, the great goals he scored for, the good times he's gave her, the points he rescued, particularly before the takeover and those dark, doom days under Brucey and that. But, mate, it's the here and now. You're still getting paid about 100 grand a week, and you're not playing. So I think everyone's got a right to be a bit pissed off. Anyways, his recent statement, that was in the programme against Liverpool a couple of weeks back, and then, he was saying, I'm back now, better than ever, and then he's injured again fucking 4 seconds later. Despite all the hard work I've put in, pushing to get back to full fitness, I need to take a little step backwards, unfortunately, guys. Frustrating as it is for everyone out there waiting for my return to be able to help the team, these shortcomings also upset and frustrate me more than anybody else. I'm not down that. As a footballer, I'm sure he wants to be playing football. If his passion's in it, which I'm sure it is, the majority of footballers will want to be on the pitch, not on the bench or not at home watching, bored out the brain. But, this is where we are now. I will and I am doing everything in my power to rediscover the best version of myself, finally get off this emotional roller coaster, which I'm hoping 2025 will bring. Appreciate the patience, love and support from all those closest that know how hard I really work and how professional I always am. I'm not doubting that, and at the end of the day, it's probably not Wilson's fault, like I said earlier, that his body's giving way on him, but he's touching mid-30s now. So you've had a good career. It's dwindled off because of fitness in recent times, but it's time for a change, time to move on. We should have sold him. Contract runs out in the summer. He'll be away, and I'll remember and respect him for the goals that he scored, but come on, the here and now, it's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. This is his record here, okay? Since 2020, Callum Wilson has missed over 40% of Premier League games at Newcastle United. He's suffered 15 setbacks at the tune. 7 hamstring injuries. My goodness me, man. Honestly, this is well. I was going to make another analogy there. I'm not going to. No. But Jesus, it's time to end it. Just retire, mate. Or just, like I said, go America, go Saudi, go somewhere it's sunnier and a bit more laid back, slower pace. He'd be playing walking football at the fucking Federation soon. And then when I started this video, actually, he's put out another post. I think this may be a story. This year may have let you down. It may have broken you. It may have been the hardest one yet. But you've made it to the end of it. And the end is a damn good place to be. Because the end of the waste is most certainly the beginning of something better. So, listen, I'm sure he's going through it. I'm sure he's at home and he's down and everything. But yeah, listen, this is football, isn't it? So it is time to move on. And where will we move on to then? Where will we move on to? Is the question at hand. So like I said, the Mail are reporting that we're not going to change plans unless Gordon Ariza got injured. I'm not having that one bit. Unless William Masula has started playing on the training ground, Eddie Howe's taste, and he's going to get some game time, we are desperate for another forward, and we must act on this news now. Like we should have acted 2 years ago. In the summer, before Champions League, when we qualified for top 4, we should have signed a striker then, knowing the injuries that Isak and Wilson get, particularly Wilson, that they shouldn't have been our only 2 strikers, and then that derailed us throughout the whole campaign as well as all the other mad injuries. And fair play to Bunce, who's been brought in during the summer. We've had less injuries now. We're also less intense, mate, and less enjoyable to watch. But we've had less injuries, apart from Wilson and Trippier. The old players, isn't it? There's a sign here. Should move them on. So going forward, the forwards have to be brought in. We have to have competition for Isak, because this isn't going to benefit him in any way. You know, having this strain, him probably playing through injuries, him not having any competition, not having to kick up the arse. He knows he's playing every week, and he probably can't even be arsed if he's absolutely done in. So he needs competition. We need to bring someone in. And because of FFP, right, if we do focus on that right winger, we manage to sign a Bakayoko, a Semenyo, a bloody anybody. And then if you try and get your gear in or another centre-back, or if that has to wait till the summer, then we have to get a forward in. Because Isak's bound to shut down at one point. He's bound to miss a handful of games at least. So time to get another forward in. Like I said, perfect scenario, and Boomer, who can play both positions. Or if you want an out-and-out striker, go for the loan market. Go for the loan market. We have to explore that. We really do. Get Mitrovic from Saudi. Bring him back to tune. Yeah? So I'm seeing the same things I said last year. And I don't know why we haven't capitalised on the Saudi market. The rule got passed where, you know, we all thought we were going to be up in arms and the Premier League were going to rob us of being able to do that. Then we didn't even try and do it. We didn't even try and take advantage of that market. I find that strange. I don't know why we haven't. Anybody from Saudi, any half-decent striker who's still there. Benzema, what's he doing? Do you know what I mean? I don't care. Anybody? Is there a young Saudi Arabian kid that fancies a kick about? You know, we need numbers. So we need players in. So the loan market is a serious one we should be delving into. And the names that have been linked this morning are Koulibaly from PSG. Now, the young Frenchman hasn't really ignited his career since that move there where he was highly rated. So Koulibaly, I'd love him. I think he's a top talent. What's bloody Hugo Ekitike doing these days? He was linked for ages. Bring him in. Like Remy. See, he's still gone? Get him in. This is how desperate I am. And another name that's been linked is Evan Ferguson, who is apparently available for loan by Brighton because he can't really get in their team. He's been battling back from some serious injuries. So I like the sound of that move, to be fair. I've seen him score a hat-trick against us last season. Top player, but he's really struggling with injuries. Now he's struggling with confidence. Bring him in. Maybe under the guidance of Wilson giving him some tips. Not physically. He hasn't got the capabilities for that. But, you know, experience. Isak, learn off Alex how to score screamers and that, you know, make it runs. Brilliant. Learn off these players. Fantastic. Bring Shearer in for a couple of sessions. Evan Ferguson on loan. Maybe an obligation to buy if he hits a certain amount of criteria. Apparently Brighton are willing to do that. Brighton are always willing to sell players if the money's right. So, you know, if you can get Ferguson on loan, which he's meant to be available for, that's a sound move for us, that. Evan Ferguson on loan, I really, really like that. And if we can get that done, I'd be a big, big fan of it. You know, he's proven it in the Premier League. Yes, he's tailed off a little bit. Like I said, he's struggling at the minute. But, you know, he's a good option for us off the bench. And if he can get a goal, get his confidence up, who knows what could happen there? We could have got a real gem on our hands. I mean, it was only a year or two ago he was linked with a £100 million move to Arsenal and Chelsea. So Ferguson on loan is a sound option. But we have to act now. You know, we have to act now in January. We must bring another forward. We can't go ahead with just Isak and Asula for the next 2.5 months. And it's pointless even saying 2.5 months because you know that when Wilson comes back, guess what? It's Groundhog Day again. You get injured within a fucking space of a few days. So you're right off, man. Can't see. So just forget about Wilson. Forget about him. You may as well put Wilson in the same bracket as fucking Amiobi. Just forget he's ever played. He doesn't play anymore. He's done. He's retired. Finish. So yeah, we have to act in January. Big, big month ahead. Let us know what you think in the comments below, everyone. Subscribe to my channel TV, and I'll see you on the next one.